Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking a bit to you about conditioning for rugby. So if you find you're a player that you struggle with your fitness on the field, then this is going to be a good one for you. And if you've been watching my channel now for a while, I'm in a new place. I just moved, so that's why I didn't do one of these last week. Anyway, we're back into it. So if you like this, please like this. That helps me out. Share it with your friends. If you know someone in particular who needs extra fitness work, or they struggle with their fitness, send it to them. If you know coaches that want to help their team build up their fitness, please send them this one, because this is a good one. Okay, so I just want to start off with just acknowledging, so I played for a club for many years that seemed to always get beat in the last 20 minutes, and other teams used to think, okay, if we can just hold off at this team at my team for the first 60 minutes, that they'll get us. All right. They would be able to beat us in the last 20 minutes. Okay. Now, why is that? Then that's my biggest question. Like, why is that happening? And why did that happen? Because it did happen, which was very frustrating for me, because people wouldn't take my advice back then, being other players. And all I wanted to do was to win games. So how can we prevent that? Well, my number one reason that actually happens is nothing to do with your running ability, all right, or even your respiratory fitness. What it is you're not strong enough. Number one, you're not pound for pound strong enough. So however much you weigh, you're not strong enough. And this happens to so many players. They're just not strong enough on the field. Okay, so they haven't put the work into their body in the weights room, so that when they're on the field, that they're prepared enough. Okay, and this is because you think about every time you're making a tackle, every time you're making a run, right? It's using a certain amount of energy. Now, if you're stronger, right, it's going to be easier for you to make those runs, to make those tackles, right? Because you're going to be spending less energy, right? And if you're stronger for your own body weight, okay, so say you stay at the same body weight, say you say 100 kilos, and you stay at 100 kilos, but you get stronger, right? It's then easier for you to move that body weight around. All right. So I want you to think about that. So if you're in your off season, all right, and you don't play till, next year, my biggest focus is obviously getting players stronger pound for pound. All right. Getting strong as they can, but also strong pound for pound. So if you've been struggling with your fitness over the last couple of years, maybe it is you just have excess body fat that you can lose, right? Which is going to help you get around the field easier, because you're going to be stronger then for how much mass you're carrying, right? Or maybe it is you're putting on weight, all right? Which means that your strength needs to go up relative with how much weight you're going to put on, because you're going to struggle when you come back. And I always say that to players, if you want to put on weight, that's fine, that's great, right? But we obviously need to get it strong. You can't just be putting on fat, right? You have to put on muscle with it. Otherwise, you're going to come back and you're going to be struggling to breathe. Your joints are going to be hurting. And yeah, so that's my number one is being stronger. Okay. And I like to think of everything as a big seesaw or a big lever. Okay. And now there are some things that give you a bigger leverage. All right. So you get more results from doing less, and, or bring you the greatest results. Okay. And then other things, they bring you results, but not so much. So I always try and think about, okay, what's the biggest levers I can pull on to help someone get to where they want? Okay. When it comes to fitness, most of the time it is getting them stronger. Okay. So that's most of the time. And then there's so many different ways you can get people strong, that's going to help them out. So how can I give you an example of this? So in the start of my programs, right? So I like to build up everyone's capacities. Okay. So I like to get people working more volume at first, so we can put on some muscle, but also shorter rest periods. Okay, which is not actually ideal for putting on as much muscle as possible. But what it is ideal is actually setting up for later programs. So my first 4 weeks are very short rest periods, going in between exercises to still get as much rest as possible. But what's going to happen is by week 8 to 12 in a new block, because of that higher work capacity that we've already built, which actually builds up quite quickly, is your ability to do more and more sets and reps and yada, yada, yada. That's actually, that adapts quite quickly. That actually sets it up so then when we get to doing heavier weights, you'll be better prepared for it and you'll be able to get through more volume of that. Okay, which in the long term, I'm going to make you stronger than what you would have been. So that's something to think about, is the levers. And then, like I was talking about before, like you could look at your body fat. Okay, are you carrying around too much body fat? Okay, which would mean that like you just need to either get stronger again to be able to handle that body weight, or you need to shed some of that body fat. Okay, so what about running? Because so often it used to be like people just used to run. Just go, I've got to go do a 4K a week or 4K twice a week, whatever it is. Like, and I don't think that's a large lever. Okay, I don't think that is a great lever to be pulling on that's going to bring you great results. Yes, it will make you fitter, but is it the best lever that can make you fitter, faster? Now, if you're in your off season, I prefer to do a sprint session once a week. All right, because what we can actually do is build up your sprint endurance. And a lot of rugby is short, sharp sprints. Okay, and the in between is like walking, jogging. So if we can get those short, sharp sprints up and we can build up your endurance for that, right? How many times you can actually hit your top pace, right? Then we're going to start really making you fitter. And like, it depends what position you play for how many sprints, you need to be doing and how far. Okay, because like your wingers, your outside backs will obviously do more sprints. Okay, and generally they'll do longer sprints compared to a front rower who will do more short, sharp sprints. Okay, I'm not saying that they won't do any long sprints in the game, but they'll do more 5 meters. More getting off the line into the face of defenders. Okay, they'll be sticking in the midfield. You don't want them doing too many sprints anyway. They've got to do all the scrums and stuff. So, then if I look at that, right, so if I think, okay, rather than going and doing long distance sprinting, long distance running, I'm going to do short distance sprints. Okay. And then if I really, want to pick up my Bronco and stuff like that, okay, then you actually need to train for your shuttle runs. Okay. So like that would be the next step. Okay. And you can actually start building up your different capacities in that. Okay. And so like what I would do then is building, and this is what I do with my clients, is coming into the season. I know most clubs are going to hammer people for running because, it's easy. It's easy to hammer people with running. So I try not to give them too much running going into it. I just try and prepare the body as best they can so that when they do all that running, they'll be best prepared for it. So, the lower back doesn't get sore. The ankles don't give way. They're the things that really hold people back. But like if you are someone, you really want to get your Bronco up, all right, then you need to practice your short sprints, right? Your 20 and 40 meters, all right? And you can do it for time. Like you could set out 20 meters and have to be back, so out to 20 meters and back within like a time limit. And what you could do is just gradually bring down that time limit, or you could gradually increase it by a meter, right, each week. So then you're progressively getting better. So there's different ways you could do that. All right. But that's what I would do if I really wanted to pick up my Bronco. And like, if I go back to playing next year, right before the season, so about 4 weeks before the season, I'll actually really pick that up. So then by the time I go into the season, I'll be fully firing. And I'll be doing that for all my RDC clients too. Like when they go into before they go into the season, it's not pre-season, but before they play that first match, where it's a trial match. So it depends who they are as well. So if it's someone that needs to fire in the trial matches, they need to make an impression, then I'll start them 4 weeks before that trial match, start really building up that running conditioning. Okay. Because, I want them to fire and I want them to get picked in the best team they can at the start. Right. But if it's someone that, they're probably going to play first grade already, their spot's fairly secure. No, I'll never say anyone's spot's fully secure, but fairly secure. Then I'll sort of plan to make them as fit as they can before their first actual match, rather than the trials. And I'll use the trials as a way to build up their match fitness. Okay, so it's a little different approach, but like people are at different stages of their careers. Okay, but yeah, so that's one of the simplest ways to get fit. Like you don't need to do long distance running all the time. Like it's a very low leverage exercise. I'm not saying it doesn't work, right? Like you can do it, but is it going to bring you the greatest results? Okay, and that goes like any gym program. Like you can walk into the gym and do any exercises you like, right? Everything's going to bring you some sort of result. It's whether you're going to pull on the largest lever, all right, that's going to bring you the greatest results or the fastest results or whatever it may be. The results that are going to help you on the field as much as possible. That's what you want to be doing. That's what you want to be looking at the biggest levers you can. And that's, obviously why I have my programs is so I can give people to that. Like that's what I didn't have when I was growing up and what I wish I had. So yeah, if you're someone struggling with fitness, stronger, how much body fat are you carrying? You can check out your running technique. That might also help. If you're struggling with your tackling, do some wrestling this off season, or even during the season, like get a wrestling coach. I've got my wrestling program coming out, and because conditioning, I should have said this at the start, but conditioning is very specific. Okay, so like you could be a marathon runner that's like super fit, that everyone goes, yeah, that person's super fit. They can run 42 kilometers in 2 hours, 30, whatever it may be. But then they come and do some wrestling and they can't last 30 seconds, right? Because it's just a totally different type of conditioning that you need for it. So conditioning is specific. And yeah, nothing will actually ever take away from playing rugby for being actually conditioned. But yes, there are ways that you can be in better condition for it and have your body better prepared. And that's what I'm here to help you with. So I hope this helped. If it's helped, please like it, share it. I'd love to hear your feedback on it. And yeah, follow my Instagram, check out my programs. If you're a coach, you can reach out to me. I'll definitely help out if I can help you out. All right, cool. Thank you very much.